Hey again. This is Dave from Analogy ADHD and Tutoring, and I wanted to make a little video on the challenges that ADHD brings as baggage for your loved ones, for your family, your friends, your coworkers. Yes, you are the one who has to live inside of your own ADHD brain 24 hours a day. It is something that your loved ones probably don't understand. It's something you sometimes don't even understand. I get it. What I'm asking in this one is to step outside yourself just a little bit and think of the unintentional effects of your ADHD on those around you. This is not to be guilty ridden. I have ADHD. I have for 57 years. I have been married for 30 years. And my wife, bless her heart, has had to put up with a lot. We are not low maintenance partners. The same can be said for children. If you're a parent, you probably know what it's like to have a child with ADHD. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. And I'm also that. I have two children who have ADHD, and I know how it impacted my wife and I as they went through school, and we had the homework meltdowns and the change of plan disaster alarms going off in their heads, the inability to go to sleep at night, the emotional volatility, the guilt every time they failed at following through on something they really promised they were going to do for you. This isn't supposed to be guilt. This is reality. This is how this works. So, relationships, they can be a challenge for somebody with ADHD. We're not really good at reading the room. We don't tend to have a really well developed ability to recognize somebody giving you a subtle little look from across the room. We just are stuck in our heads and plowing forward into, embarrassment, while people around us are very gently trying to throw up an alarm and say stop, but we don't see it. And that, sure, in a social setting could be embarrassing, but it's also something that impacts your people in your life when you don't recognize their warning signs. When you say something hurtful and you don't see it and you just keep blathering on, or you are trying to get a reaction out of someone and they're not giving it to you, and you keep ratcheting up the rhetoric until you finally force them to, you know, face you or dialogue with you, and it's never going to be productive that way. This is not intended to be a video that gives you all the answers. There are not singular answers for any of this. Every relationship is different. Every person is different. What I am trying to suggest here is take a moment as someone with ADHD and consider, how does my behavior make it more difficult for others? Do I leave the dishes out constantly? and they have to clean them up. Do I never remember to buy birthday cards and it's left to my wife? Check. Yes, that's me. If you were in my life without my wife, you never got a birthday card because I wouldn't remember until the morning of. We don't tend to do a whole lot of prior planning. Um, are you giving your spouse, your partner, your kids, your parents a whole lot of trouble when you know inside they're telling you what is good for you, but you don't want to, and you fight? Nobody wants to do things that are unpleasant, but somebody with ADHD really can't separate the unpleasant from the yeah, but I should. They just mash into one thing, and you get so consumed in the I don't want to, it's not fair, I shouldn't have to, they don't have to, they don't have these problems. And that's all great. And that's all might be true. But any relationship has to start with our own reckoning of what challenges do we bring into the relationship. Does that mean that our partners, the other people in our lives, don't have a role in this? Absolutely, they do. It's a growth process. You have to be committed to making changes. I will do more videos on those shortly. But if you are facing some struggles in a relationship, before you start with the finger pointing, really take a look at yourself and see what challenges do I bring? What is difficult about the way I act, the way I follow through, the way I plan, the way I schedule? And please do not take any of this as a guilt thing. It is not. You're not doing any of this because that's what you want to do. You're doing it because that's the way your brain works. It's not your fault. You shouldn't feel like it's your fault. I assure you, I have spent plenty of time kicking myself around the block for my perceived failures. Failures for my wife, for my kids, for my coworkers, for my boss. But the guilt isn't going to fix it. So forget the guilt and let's just start trying to find what you are bringing to the table that is something that can be discussed with the other party. Be open, explain, look, I know I do this and I'm sorry, but I wish I could say I will never do it again. But that's not really the case. From there, this conversation is going to have to take the path that works for the people involved. I have no magic words for you, but no productive relationship conversation can happen surrounding ADHD that starts with the word you. You do this. You don't let me. You always react. It's not going to work. You're going to have to get past that because, quite frankly, we initiate many of the problems. Do our significant others, do our coworkers, do they understand why? Probably not. Do they understand that we're not doing it as an intentional slight? Probably not all the time. And you are going to have to educate them. You are going to have to be your own advocate, and you're going to have to tell them why this has happened. And then come up with a collective strategy for, and now how can we do better next time? What can I understand about your response? What can you understand about my intentions? It's going to have to start with I, about what I have brought to the table that is the stressor in this situation. Trust me, just because you have ADD doesn't mean it's the source of every one of the problems in your life. It's not. People are problems. Okay. I'm only talking about the things that truly are those, oh God, I really meant to do that and I forgot again. I am so stupid. Those, you know them. You know when you feel them. You know when you are just so sick of failing people. So own that and start there. There'll be some more videos coming up about suggestions on where to go from there, but that's how you should start. Thanks. Have a good night.